Jack Lund is the president of the CEO and CEO of the YMCA for Greater New York, the largest YMCA in North America. Jack has been a part of the YMCA for the past 30 years, including a program director, as New York City's largest private youth-serving organization. The YMCA of Greater New York is still growing under Mr. Lund's leadership, with a career track record that includes several local Y initiatives that blossomed into national Y programs. Mr. Lund is adding new programs to tackle the challenges our young people face, not the least of which is childhood obesity, that include the YMCA Strong Kids Card, Teens Take the City, and the second grade swim, which is developing vital skills and sowing the seeds of a lifetime of fun in the water. And I congratulate you for that as well. His background and his current positions brings to this hearing a valuable community service perspective. We thank you for joining us today, Mr. Lund.
Good morning, Chairman Dodd, Ranking Member Alexander, members of the subcommittee. I'd like to express appreciation on behalf of the nation's 2,687 YMCAs for your work to ensure the health and security of the nation's children and families. The YMCA is the nation's leading not-for-profit committed to youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And at the Y, strengthening community is our fundamental mission. About 35 million children in the United States live within 3 miles of a Y, and every day we work side by side with our neighbors in more than 10,000 communities to make sure that everyone, regardless of age, income, or background, has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. Last year, YMCAs across the United States had a direct impact on the lives of more than 20 million Americans of all ages and backgrounds. About half of them were kids under the age of 18. In New York City, we serve nearly 400,000, half of whom are youth and teens. By design, YMCAs are diverse as the communities we serve, and we strive to meet the unique needs of our neighbors, but at the heart of almost every Y is a belief that kids deserve the opportunity to discover who they are and discover what they can achieve. In each of the 5 boroughs in New York City and in every congressional district in this country, we have at least one, if not several, YMCAs where kids are encouraged to learn, make smarter life choices, develop the values, skills, and relationships that lead to positive behaviors, better health, and the pursuit of higher education and personal achievement. I've been around the YMCA movement more than 35 years. Thank you, Senator, for suggesting that it was only 30. But as a Y professional in cities from coast to coast, I can attest to the YMCA's transformative impact on the lives of kids. And not only kids, but also adults, families, and, for that matter, the entire community. But today's kids are facing challenges unimagined a generation or two ago, and the culprits are not new, and you've been hearing about them this morning. They are disturbingly real. Unsafe streets, or the perception of unsafe streets, leads parents to keep their kids indoors and plugged into video games and the internet. Budget cuts and increased emphasis on standardized testing has led to the disappearance of physical education from the school day. A lack of sidewalks in some neighborhoods mean fewer kids can walk or bike to school. A lack of supermarkets and the relative high price of some foods has made junk food from the corner store and fast food outlets the only choice for low-income families living in so-called food deserts. The statistics are shocking, almost unimaginable. 1 in 3 American children are overweight or obese. 1 in 3 Americans born in the year 2000 will develop type 2 diabetes, which some of our experts call the scourge of the 21st century. And Black, Latino, and Native American kids face the greatest risk. American kids' screen time in front of the television or computer exceeds the hours that they are in school. And so for so many kids, the support system has disappeared. In an era when the parents of 28 million school-age children work outside the home, only 8.4 million kids, or 15%, participate in after-school programs. As the After School Alliance reported in a recent study, 18.5 million additional children would participate if a quality after-school program were available in their community. Instead, so many of these children are left to fend for themselves alone at home. They need to have access to after-school programs that offer a safe, nurturing space for them to learn, grow, and to realize their potential. At the Y, we offer a range of programs, or perhaps a better word would be experiences, that contribute to closing the gap identified in the study that we did along with Dartmouth and the Institute of American Values called Hardwired to Connect. It's been entered into the record today. We provide the necessary tools to help youth and teens reach their potential and develop the values and skills they need to carry them into adulthood. Core offerings include childcare, before and after school care, tutoring, summer camp, civic engagement, and leadership development programs. But these Y experiences are so much more than meet the eye. Consider. Childcare and after school provide safe, nurturing environments for children to learn, grow, develop social skills, and engage in physical activity. Sports and structured play not only builds healthy bodies, but also builds social and leadership skills. Swim instruction reduces the risk of drowning, a leading cause of accidental death in children, and also instills confidence and a valuable skill that can never be taken away. Y camps provide a safe, thriving community for young people to explore personal interests, build self-esteem, learn values, develop interpersonal skills, discover the wonders of nature, and develop independence away from their parents, often for the first time. And civic engagement leadership programs like Youth in Government and Teens Take the City, which is a model city government program we began in New York 5 years ago, they enhance knowledge, build character, and give young people the opportunity to discover that they can make a positive change in their communities and in the world. As we all know, democracy must be learned by each generation, and the YMCA shares in that responsibility. We believe all these opportunities are not just nice things to do, but very essential to the healthy development of our communities' children in spirit, mind, and body, and access to these experiences should be considered an American birthright. We can't talk about the state of American kids without talking about childhood obesity. Nearly 1/3 of our nation's children are overweight or obese, putting them at risk for a host of chronic conditions, including type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, and others. Along with access to affordable health care, it is the most pressing health issue facing our children today. As I mentioned previously, the Y offers a range of experiences that keeps kids moving and educates them about making healthy choices, but we believe we have a responsibility to support individuals of all ages to adopt and maintain healthy lifestyles. It extends to the entire community. That's why we're committed to working with community leaders to influence policy, to increase physical activity opportunities, and to improve access to healthy foods. In New York City, our YMCA has been an active partner with Columbia University and neighborhood residents in the East Harlem Food and Fitness Consortium. Our collaboration has led to the opening of supermarkets in one of the country's most underserved neighborhoods, and we're proud to be there. Simply put, we need to make healthy choices the easy choice by ensuring that our communities have adequate opportunities for children, families, and adults to engage in healthy behaviors wherever they live, learn, and play. As you move forward in your efforts to improve the health of the nation's children, please know that with the Y, you have a partner with a 160-year track record of building healthy spirit, mind, and body, and an on-the-ground presence in 10,000 American communities to address those pressing social issues. Despite the challenges facing our nation's children and youth, we see bright spots every day at the Y, and we're proud of our long history in helping children and individuals of all ages learn, grow, and thrive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very, very much. But you made a very good point. I think you made this point, and maybe it was Mr. Lund, and that is, of course, the absence, these deserts on nutrition. And we see this all the time, where the only food stores are these little small stores that have more highly concentrated fat and poor quality food in them, but that's the only choice you live in.
It's the only place they have
only
to
place
go.
you go.
Right.
And how do we turn this around? How do we actually make a difference? Maybe you, Mr. Lund, mentioned that you actually had some success in this. I want to know what you did.
We did. We were part of the Food and Fitness Consortium in East Harlem, and we worked with local government to do our very best to attract supermarkets to make an investment. And what attracts the supermarkets is knowing that they're not going to be Fort Apache. They're not going to be the only economic investment that's being made in that community, and making sure that we attract additional investment so that there's a a critical mass of economic success has been a model that's worked for us.
Mr. Lund, let me ask you, because the YMCA has had a great tradition and for years. I've often thought you had a lot of, talk about mentoring in schools, for instance, early stages, that an awful lot of parents had bad experiences themselves in school, dropped out, whatever else. So that environment of a setting, of a school setting, can be an intimidating venue as parents themselves. And yet to the extent we all know that with Head Start, 80%, in fact it's under law, requires that there be parental involvement with Head Start children. We get about 80% participation. By the first grade, on average in this country, there's less than 20% participation by parents in the education of their children. It just drops off like a cliff. And to the extent, instead of mandating these things, which I think is a bad idea, to the extent we could get other parents or other people, volunteers such as you see, those home visits can make a huge difference. Instead of inviting necessarily the parent to come to the school in the early stages, but actually getting parents to visit other parents in their home settings. So you begin to tear down the barriers of that venue being an intimidating place. I wonder if you've ever tried anything like that and what success you may have had with it.
We've had a lot of success with it, and I think, as Mrs. Powell said, the Harlem Children's Zone, Boys and Girls Clubs, the YMCAs, we demystify the institution. We're a safe place not just for kids, we're a safe place for their parents as well. In New York City, teenage pregnancy is an epidemic. And the good programs are programs that require parents to participate in young parents to participate in parent education programs. It's not that they don't want to do a good job for their kids, they just don't know how.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a real role for private sector organizations to play in this regard, because we really are a destination for people that live in our neighborhoods, and we're seen as a lot safer than the schools.
Yeah. So you've set the table for us here today, and that's been very, very helpful. And obviously, there are a lot of people who could be sitting at that table to offer advice and counsel on how to go from here to there. And my hope is we can get this idea going on a way, at least we've got a place now to really think about results-oriented, not just what you ought to be doing, recommendations, but actually how to do things. And then from that, hopefully we can breed some real solid thinking and see us move, Dr. Holtz, in those numbers again. Getting those numbers, pushing those numbers back down would be a great contribution. So I can't thank you enough for being here this morning.